A new hype stock has been gaining popularity, and that is Nikola Motors, and this comes after they completed their merger with VTIQ just a couple of days ago. The new combined company, called Nikola Motors, trades under the ticker symbol NKLA on the stock market. Many are seeing this company as, quote, the Tesla competitor because they have a similar mission of eliminating internal combustion engines. So let's discuss this company here today. Let's discuss this stock, and I'm going to share with you guys what this merger means here for Nikola. And I'm also going to divulge some information here on my personal thoughts around this company, around this industry, and even around their competitor or seeming competitor, Tesla. Now guys, if you are a fan of this industry, electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, whatever you want, anything to eliminate the traditional ICE vehicles, drop a like down below, show your support for the channel, and hit that subscribe button as well if you're brand new here. Okay, so what's on your screen right now is kind of the highlights that the company posted on their website after the merger. First off, the new combined company will be traded under the ticker symbol NKLA, and some of you guys have already been buying the stock under this new ticker, or some of you were aware of this or bought into this stock under their previous ticker, VTIQ, which was a company that merged with Nikola. Next point here is about money. The company raised about $700 million recently, and we all know from Tesla's history in this industry that it is a money drainer. So even the $700 million, in my opinion, won't be enough over the long term, but it's a good start. Next is the biggest bullish point around the company, in my opinion, and that is their pre-orders that represent more than $10 billion in potential, remember that, potential revenue. Finally, because of this merger, the board of Nikola has a couple of new members, the CEO of VTIQ, which is VTIQ, and the former vice chairman of GM. So there's a lot of news to digest, a lot of changes to this business, their board, but their mission still remains here. And as an investor, you need to understand two main things. What is the health of the business today, and how does this business plan to make money tomorrow? Nikola has publicly stated that they expect to generate revenue by late 2021 with the rollout of its Nikola Tre Class 8 BEV, and this is their semi-truck product. The problem is, as of today, the company hasn't even started production or building this truck here. And what I found interesting is that they will be producing these trucks in Europe primarily, and that'll be the market initially for the company. Some of these finished trucks eventually will be funneled into the US, but this is clearly not the focus for the company, at least when it first starts selling these trucks. And guess what? This just happens to coincide around the time that Tesla also plans to release their semi-trucks, which has been delayed a few times already. If there's anything we can learn from Tesla, guys, is that these type of projects go on for much longer than expected. So when Nikola comes out and says they expect a late 2021 release, it may end up being late 2022 or even into 2023 due to the challenges faced with this industry and the products that they create. This is nothing against Nikola or Tesla, it's just the industry and the nature of the industry that they're in, and any investors in either of these companies should really be aware of this by now. Now, at the core of the situation, my concern is that Nikola is still a concept company. Sure, they have a prototype, sure, they have a plan, but the question you have to be asking yourself and constantly asking yourself here with this business is, do they have the right team in place to execute flawlessly? And more importantly, guys, will they have enough cash to sustain themselves to grow and actually fulfill these projects? These questions place serious doubt in my mind personally, and you may say, well, Tesla did it, and yes, that's true, but Tesla was an exceptional case and was a company that faced bankruptcy many times, but managed to get through it. Now, if things go well for Nikola and they're also just as lucky here as Tesla, they may also be able to get through these challenges that they face, but there is a realistic possibility that when they do hit a roadblock for cash, and that is going to happen no doubt, will this company have a situation where they aren't able to get funding and have to close shop? So it's a very real concern here, guys, with Nikola. Tesla is kind of seen as this miracle company. They've really been lucky with everything that's happened with the business. Elon Musk has been an exceptional CEO to guide them through this because he's been through other businesses in the past and has been able to overcome these hurdles. And he's also well connected out there, so they were able to raise money when they needed. With Nikola, that isn't exactly the same situation. even if they face the same struggles Tesla does, they may not be as lucky to get through it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Them facing a position where they need more cash is, in my opinion, something that will happen here in the near future. So as an investor, that's something you need to keep in mind and have to be monitoring very closely. And you have to see where this company has levers to pull in extra cash if required. So guys, now let's talk about the actual stock for Nikola. Now I know up until this point you may be thinking that I'm being very unfair to Nikola. They have an idea that they could execute on and they have a plan that they could execute on. Everything could go really well for the company, and that's true, that's a possibility. But to me, for me to invest in this company, there's a long way to go and a lot of things to be proven out before I can even be comfortable putting in a dime here in Nikola. As of today, you can see their charts here, and there's a lot of hype around this stock and a lot of optimism around this business as well, because they are seen as the next Tesla. Countless of headlines go on and on about how this is a potential serious Tesla competitor, Tesla killer, Tesla whatever. This company just loves to be associated with Tesla because it's just free press for them. And guys, what's really interesting here is that even with no material product right now, they don't really have anything in place that they can sell consumers. They don't have actual revenues. All of their deposits are no obligation, leading to potential future revenue. The stock still manages to move higher and gain more investors. Now, I see this as a highly risky and highly speculative investment, and let me explain to you why. So say I had some money today to invest, whether that's $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever amount that you want, doesn't really matter. The concept here is what I'm trying to get across to you. Say I have some money, I want to invest it in an electric car company. I look at the options out there, you have NIO, you have Nikola, you have Tesla, you probably have some other players as well, maybe the traditional car makers like Ford. But let's just say you look at the two American pure play car companies that are electric, and you narrow down to pretty much Tesla and Nikola that's publicly traded. So if I go with Tesla, what do I get? I get a business that's a leader in electric vehicles, a business that has a proven model, a business that's about to be profitable on a consistent basis here annually, a business that has technology that is years ahead of its competition with things like full self-driving and AI. And even though some may argue that the stock is overvalued today for Tesla, I have absolutely zero concerns about this company going bankrupt or losing my investment in the foreseeable future. And I can honestly, truly say that I see potential in, say, 5 or 10 years for this company to continue dominating on a global scale and be much, much larger than it is today. Alternatively, we have Nikola. With Nikola, what do I get? I get a business with $0 in actual sales right now. I have to wait 1 to 2 years at least to see any form of revenue for this business. The business will primarily only compete in a semi-truck space and probably in the pickup truck space as well with its Badger, if you want to include that. We don't know when this company will be profitable, if ever, so that could take an additional 2, 3, 5 years to actually play out. It doesn't have any technology yet that's widely produced and widely available. And even if they are able to get their own AI, it's going to take many years to train the models and ramp up to the level that Tesla is at. They aren't going to be playing in the global space, at least not at launch, so that's another market limitation there. And like Tesla, some may argue that the stock is overvalued today. So I'm looking at these two companies, Tesla and Nikola. I see a lot of comparisons drawn between the two. I see a lot of similar goals between the two. But what I do see that's extremely different between the two is that one, Tesla is a proven business that is a market leader and has pulled in profits in past quarters. And then on the other side, I have Nikola, which is a up and coming company, but they have absolutely no revenues or profits or any sort of income to show for it right now. To me, if I look at the potential markets that both these companies are after, Tesla has a much larger piece of the pie that they can go after because, they have consumer products like Model 3, Model Y, Model X, S, whatever you may have it. And of course, they're coming out with their Cybertruck, which is a pickup truck alternative, and they're going to compete directly here with Nikola with their Tesla semis. When I look at the competition, Nikola, for example, they only really have a couple products and they really only want to focus in that part of the market. They don't plan to go into the consumer market with a Model 3 competitor or Y competitor. That's not really in their books for the future. So the total market that they can actually go after is much smaller. So as an investor looking at these two companies, Tesla is the better investment in my opinion because it is a company that's proven and has that massive potential with a lower risk to reward ratio. NIO also has a potential massive market considering where it is today and what's going on out there in the market. In terms of semi-trucks that are electric or hydrogen powered, there aren't really any. So they have potential to grow massive over time, but they're a long ways away from that, guys, and don't think that this is going to come anytime soon. Like I mentioned, we're a few years out at least to see just production start on some of these semi-trucks. Who knows when they get to mass production, where they're able to fulfill all their orders. And also keep in mind that Tesla simultaneously will be building their semis as well. So competition is going to heat up there, and profits that Nikola is expecting are probably going to be lower and lower as Tesla ramps up their production. Nikola also has a higher risk to reward ratio and a realistic possibility, whether you like it or not, you want to hear this or not, of potentially going bankrupt at some point. Whether that happens all depends on their execution, but it is a very realistic possibility, especially when we look at the history that Tesla has gone through with this industry. Now, I know many of you are probably going to disagree with me here, even though many of you are huge Tesla bulls as well. But if you do disagree with me, I invite you to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Give me your strongest bullish point, and I'll read that and I'll comment on it as well, and we can have a civilized discussion down there, because guys, I truly do want to see the bullish side to this that you guys are seeing right now, buying up this stock at these levels. Okay, so now here's an aside that I want to talk about, which is about their CEO, which is completely opinion based. It's just my complete opinion. I could be biased here. So if you don't want to stick around for this, I completely understand. Just drop a like down below and I'll see you in the next video. But for those of you that do want to stick around, hear my thoughts, here's what I think about Nikola and their CEO. So I think he's a pretty interesting guy, but in my opinion, I see him as kind of a hype man. If you watch the countless interviews he's done on YouTube, which is pretty much free advertising for him and his company Nikola, which as an aside is smart on him to do this because, you know, it's free publicity, he makes a lot of claims and statements that I personally find questionable, and he doesn't really back them up with any sort of facts. It's just kind of like, oh, we were first to do this, we are the best at this. But for anyone following this industry, you really are left with a lot of questions. You're like, were you really first at that? I thought Tesla was the first to execute at that. I thought some other company was first to execute. But either way, that's just kind of the impression that I got from his interviews. I also drew the conclusion here after listening to a few of these interviews that he's just trying his best to really sell the business to us. And in my opinion, this is in stark contrast to Tesla, where Tesla pretty much sold itself with their idea and their execution, and it can be seen by their current success here today. To me, it seems like Nikola and their CEO is just trying to replicate what Elon has done with Tesla, and they're just trying to ride this wave of electric cars. And really, guys, I can't blame them for doing this because this is a huge potential market, but I feel like a lot of what's coming out of this company and their CEO is just based around speculation and hype. You guys, I'm sure, remember when NIO was first listed here in the US and the amount of hype around that company, but since it was a Chinese company, it was kind of looked down upon. Now with Nikola, I'm seeing a lot of similarities here, except the main difference is that this is a US-based company, so there is more credibility in my opinion. What I also find absolutely mind-blowing is that their CEO is currently a billionaire for creating essentially a concept and prototype for a business in the future. That's absolutely mind-blowing, and honestly, I gotta give my hat off to him. He did a really good job building up the brand and the image and kind of, you know, the excitement around Nikola. But guys, all I see with this company right now is that it's just trying to be a Tesla number 2. It's just trying to pretty much leech off of Tesla's success and just do pretty much everything that Tesla's done. Even the name of the business is similar to Tesla. So guys, take it for what you will. I mean, this company is very interesting. It's definitely something I'm going to follow closely. I'm definitely all for them succeeding here, even though I am personally a Tesla investor and Tesla bull. And guys, like I said in the comment section down below, let me know what your thoughts are on this business. I asked for the bullish points earlier. Let me know your bearish points as well in the comment section down below. And I'd love to hear whether you guys agree or disagree with me on their CEO being a hype man here. But either way, guys, this was a fun video. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. But either way, don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.